Hi there, I'm Julie, social skills coach and author of the book Navigating and Avoiding Awkward Conversations. I am your conversation expert, so please make sure and comment below this video and let me know what you think of it and what sort of content you'd like me to create next for you. Enjoy! Does giving presentations make you nervous? If so, this is the video for you. Now, I know a lot of professionals who are really good at their job. They know their stuff. They're great at their stuff. And they're so great at what they do that they may be asked to give a presentation on it. It might be a big formal one with a PowerPoint and everything, or it might just be that someone has asked you to get up and speak in front of a group for 5 or 6 minutes, maybe to better explain what you do or to explain about a project that you're working on or any number of related things. And this can create so much anxiety in so many people. I want to talk about this for just a little bit today. I want to first talk about the mindset piece, and then I want to talk about a couple of practical things you can do to set yourself up for success. Let's talk about the mindset first. A lot of times when people feel really upset or anxious about giving a presentation, there are some thoughts that can happen in the back of your mind. It's these thoughts about, what if I mess up? What if I sound like an idiot? What if somebody asks me a question and I don't know the answer to it? What if I stumble over my words? I don't want people staring at me. I don't want to, I don't want to speak. I don't want people listening to me. And you can get yourself in this anxiety spiral that just spins and spins and spins until you are a basket case. But I want you to stop for just a second. And I want you to think about any time you've ever seen anyone get up in front of a group of people. This could be just a teacher in front of a classroom. This could be maybe a manager who gets up and speaks at every weekly meeting that you attend for your job. This could be a lecturer who's giving a special presentation on something. It could be literally anybody. I just want you to visualize when you're an audience member and someone is getting up to speak in front of you for any reason, no matter how formal or informal. And I want you to think about the thoughts that go through your mind when you're the person sitting in the audience. Generally speaking, you want that person to do well. You want them to be interesting. You want them to know their stuff. You want them to have a good stage presence, that they're not, nervous and shaking. Because when you watch someone who is obviously having a really hard time with what they're doing, think about that for a minute. When you are the audience member and you're watching someone get up, maybe this was a talent show or a speech class in high school. Maybe this was some sort of very on-the-spot sort of a situation. When you are witnessing someone that's getting up in front of a group and really floundering or obviously anxious or nervous or shaking, how does that make you feel as the person watching it? The vast majority of the time, it is going to make you feel really anxious and nervous because we are a herd species. We mirror the people that we come into contact with. Our brains are wired to match what we're seeing. So when we see someone who is having a little bit of an anxious breakdown in front of us, we start to feel really anxious and really tense and really upset. And what we want is for that person to be able to relax. We desperately want that person to be able to relax, because when they relax, now we can relax and just enjoy whatever's being said. So if you can reframe this a little bit in your mind, what is your audience wanting? They're wanting you to be successful. They're wanting you to be able to relax and to be confident and to know your stuff and to be able to showcase your personality a little bit. And that doesn't have to mean a big, loud, theatrical personality. Your personality could be much more conservative than that. You could be a person who just really enjoys this topic and who really enjoys conveying the information on this topic. And I've seen people who have talked about things that I would normally think that I wouldn't be interested in listening to this topic, but that person is so interested in the subject matter and they're conveying, not necessarily by being loud or theatrical, or they're not up there acting like a motivational speaker. They're just sharing what they know, what they love, and what they care about. And you can tell that it's something that they really do enjoy, and it makes it enjoyable for you, even if they're not being loud. I don't want you to think that I'm saying that in order to be good at presentations that you have to be really loud and outgoing and walking up and down the stage and getting people to cheer you on. You can give a wonderful presentation and stay still and calm the whole time. You can get up in front of a group of people and speak with your normal speaking voice and just be able to look people in the eye and share the information that you have to give. Maybe this isn't a topic that you're very passionate about. Maybe it's just something work related that you just need to explain to people. That's okay. Try to explain it in a way where they can understand it so that they can stay engaged. Once you've lost them because they can't follow your train of thought anymore and they don't quite understand what you're explaining to them, that's when they'll zone out and that's when you're going to lose their attention. But if you can present the information in a way that's understandable to anyone, pretend that you're trying to explain it to your best friend who doesn't even work for that company. Or maybe you're trying to explain it in such a way that your parents or grandparents could understand it. Or maybe a neighbor. You need to be able to explain it well enough and simply enough that anybody is going to be able to understand what you're saying. And that is a successful presentation. So I want you to hopefully understand from the mindset piece that people want you to succeed. And actually, the more nervous you are, the harder it is for the audience to relax. No pressure, but I want you to understand that they want and need you to be able to relax, because it actually just makes the room so much more calm for everybody. As far as giving your presentation, making sure you're well prepared, making sure that you rehearse the presentation a couple of times so that you feel really comfortable with the material, you feel confident about what it is you need to say, you know that you're not going to get up there and forget what you had to say. Maybe you need to add a few more bullet points to the actual presentation. Maybe you need to have a couple of notes in front of you. There can be some things that will clue you in. You know what? I keep forgetting this one thing, so let me write it down somewhere so I don't have to worry about forgetting about it. And then you practice it a few times so that you know, I've got this presentation in the bag. This is not going to be a problem. I'm not going to get up here and forget what I needed to say. I'm not going to get up here and stumble through it because I can't remember what points I was trying to make. That's going to help you a lot with your confidence. Understanding that the audience wants you to succeed can help to boost your confidence a little bit, that it's in everybody's best interest for you to be able to relax and speak up. So you want to speak loudly enough that they can hear you. You want to be able to speak clearly enough that they can understand you. You want the information to be presented simply enough that they're not going to get lost. And as a little extra, one thing people can be worried about is, what if someone asks me a question that I don't know the answer to? As a little bonus tip, it's okay to say, I don't know. It's perfectly fine. It is superiorly acceptable for you to say that you don't know than to try to make up an answer on the spot. So here are some things that you can say if someone asks you a question and you don't know the answer. You can say, you know what? That's a really good point that I hadn't thought about before. I'm going to need to look into that and get back to you because I actually don't know the answer to that question. You could say, well, that's not something that has come up anytime that I have interacted with this material. So I'm not sure what the answer is because it's not something I've had to deal with before, but it's a really good point. I think that might be something I need to be prepared for in the future just in case. Thank you for bringing it up. The last type of question someone might ask you would be one that is really a little bit too off topic to actually be relevant, but you don't want to be stuck sitting there going, that question has nothing to do with this, because that would be a pretty rude response, right? So you might just respond with something. Maybe they ask you about something and it's really off topic, or it's not your department, or it just has nothing to do with what you actually asked. Sometimes people like to ask questions in these scenarios because they want to participate, but the way that they're participating is not relevant or accurate. That can create a little bit of an awkward situation. So if that happens, I will usually respond by saying something like, you know what, maybe you and I can have a conversation about that after the presentation. I'm not exactly sure at this moment how to fit that in to what we were talking about just now, but I'd be happy to talk to you more about it afterward. Maybe we can figure it out together. When you're ready to wrap up, you just simply say, does anybody have any more questions? And maybe nobody does. And you say, okay, great. Well, that wraps up my presentation. Thank you so much for listening. You guys have been awesome. Or maybe it's a time limit and you say, well, I think that that's our time limit. So I need to wrap this up so that we can stay on time with what's next on the agenda. If anybody has any other questions, please feel free to come up to me after this meeting and I'd be happy to address any other questions that anybody has. Thanks so much. And you hand it off. I hope that this has been a really helpful video to you to help presentations to seem less intimidating, less overwhelming, and for you to feel a lot more confident about how to give that information in a way that's going to be really well received. If you have anything in particular that you would like for me to do a video on, please let me know because I'm here to create the content that you need. This is your conversation expert, Julie, and I will see you next week. Hey friend, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the like button and share with a friend who you know will value it as well. I upload new videos every Wednesday, so make sure and subscribe so you don't miss a thing. I'll see you next time.